guys! Today's video will be about how you can create your own illustration style. You can always get inspired by other illustrators as long as you keep in mind that in order to stand out in the crowd and get noticed, you'll have to create something unique. My first advice is that your illustration style has to reflect the kind of designer that you want to be. Another advice I would like to give you is to make sure that your illustrations share some of the same unique elements which will make them recognizable to other people. Hopefully it will inspire you and give you some ideas to try and find your own unique illustration style that reflects your personality. Let's get started. So what I will be doing today are some quick sketches where I just play with colors and different materials. It's all about just being creative and have fun. First I will show you some different ways to draw faces. In this first one I only use markers. I actually just let my hand do the walking and then I just see what happens. I started by drawing the shape of the face and created some shadows where I want the eyes, the nose and the lips to be, and then I take a pink marker to create more depth. Instead of hair, I quickly draw the outlines of a hat and I put a bow on it with a black marker. Here I want to show you how much you can create with just a few lines and some color. I play with the perspective in this one and I kind of like when the drawings have a different kind of look to them. I use liquid watercolor to give her blue hair and I just apply it randomly. This creates a kind of messy look. Then I apply a little bit of pink marker to her lip and I also add a little color to her skin. As a finishing touch, I give her some eyelashes just to give a sense of where the eyes are. So this time I begin with some sunglasses. I draw 2 circles and I just fill them in with color. I use a black marker here. I leave some of the paper white to create some shine to the glasses. And then I just finish them up. In this example, I want to exaggerate the texture of the lips and give her a fuller lip. First I draw some lines from the inside of her lips and then I finish them up by sketching the outside of her lips. Then I proceed to the hair. And here I use a pencil and I build up the texture of her hair by going over the same spot several times. I give her a bun on top and I draw some harsher lines with the pencil so it doesn't look too flat. I draw the outline of her face and I mark the cheekbones and add some red marker to her lips because I want them to pop. Again, I leave some of the paper white because it makes her lip appear bigger. I build up the color till I'm satisfied with the result. In the end, I use a blue marker to outline her face further and to create some shadows in her hair. In this example, I want to show you how you can create hair using a marker. I begin by giving her some bangs, and it gives a great effect of shiny hair if you leave some of the paper white with just a few strokes of the marker. Again, I like to build up the color till I'm satisfied. I use the same method on the rest of her hair, and I want to give her a bob to go with her bangs. I finish off with some random strokes because I like when it looks a bit messy. I use a pen to finish the hair and add a bit more random hair strokes. And then I give her a simple eye and a line to define where the nose is. You can also add some eyelashes if you want a more feminine eye. Lastly, I use a red marker to give her a simple red lip. So now I will show you some examples of different ways to draw eyes. And just remember that only the sky is the limit, and just be creative. You can always take your good ideas and work more on those and make them even better. Just remember that it's all a process. This first example is a more detailed example on an eye. I use a pen and some different markers, and I just see where it goes. To me, eyes are the most beautiful feature of the face, and I kind of have a thing for big eyelashes, so on this one I go all in on those. I also want to show you how few lines you need to draw an eye. It really doesn't take much. So if you, like me, don't want your illustrations to have a very detailed face, you can use this tip. You can either improvise, or if you don't feel that creative or you just need some inspiration, you can find some pictures of some models and try to recreate their eyes with as few strokes as possible. If you like a more detailed eye, I would advise you to really study the anatomy of the eye. That way you become more aware of the proportions of the eye and how many details there actually are. A good way to start is to decide whether you love a realistic illustration style or if you are more into the abstract. Now I move on to the lips. It's the exact same process, only with a lip instead. And my advice is to choose one thing you want to focus on and let the other one be more simple. I like that the model doesn't take the focus off of the beautiful clothing your illustration is meant to show. The fun thing about lips is that you can play a lot with coloring, or you can just make a simple shadow on the upper lip and call it a day. Again, you can either keep it simple or you can just go all the way with a big mouth. I'm showing you a few examples of how you can go simple using just a regular pencil, or you can add that pop of color using a marker. You can also use a pen, which will create a sharper and more abstract look. This is kind of the same technique as I showcased earlier, but instead of coloring the lips red, I use color inside and around the lips, which creates a totally different look. Okay, now we move on to the body. I will show you a few examples of how you can play with the proportions. First, I will show you how you can create a very feminine and girly model. It's all about giving her some curves and some soft shapes. If you, on the other hand, want a more androgynous model, you can draw some sharper edges, which will appear more masculine. I give her a little feminine mouth and an eyelash to go with because those will enhance the femininity. Lastly, I randomly splashed some color on her dress just to finish it. I will soon make a tutorial where I go more into coloring and drawing different textiles. I add a little color to her skin and I make some dots on the dress just for fun. My last sketch for today is an abstract take on drawing a plus-size model. So with plus size, the keyword is curves, and I wanted to exaggerate the shape of the body in order to create an unrealistic and abstract drawing. I wanted to use some of my ideas from before, so I draw a bob with bangs on my model. Again, I draw lips on her and I add some color to the skin. You can also think out of the box and use a fun color on the skin. It creates a great effect if you use, for example, blue or purple as shadows. In the end, I draw a quick dress on my model, and that's actually it. So I hope that you can use some of the tips that I've given you and that you've gained some inspiration so you're ready to start experimenting in order to find your own unique illustration style. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please like and subscribe to my channel.